She stood at the side of the road, drenched in rain, clutching the folded flag that had once covered her husband's casket. Tears streamed down her face. Her only crime? Driving while black, in the wrong neighborhood. What the officer didn't know was that this grieving widow had a son, and he was the one man the department feared the most. Janine Turner was never one to seek attention. A quiet woman from Atlanta, Georgia, she worked 2 jobs to support her son, Malik, after her husband, a decorated Army veteran, was killed in Afghanistan. She had faith in the country he fought for, until the country turned its back on her. It was supposed to be a simple trip, a visit to her sister's house in a suburb just outside of Marietta. A peaceful Sunday afternoon, gospel music playing low in her car, when she saw the flashing lights in her rearview mirror. She pulled over immediately, heart racing. She wasn't speeding. She hadn't run a red light. But something told her this wasn't about a traffic stop. The officer approached with a smirk. Officer Derek Wallace, known on the force for being aggressive, and known in the neighborhood for something far worse. License and registration, he barked. Janine handed them over, hands trembling. "What are you doing in this area?" he asked, eyeing her up and down. "I'm visiting my sister," she replied quietly. He laughed. "Yeah, funny how people like you always have a story." She tried to keep calm. She had been taught all her life to de-escalate. But when he ordered her out of the car, things took a dark turn. He pushed her against the vehicle. Her purse spilled onto the wet pavement, the flag she carried falling out. He chuckled. "What, you a patriot or something?" Tears welled in her eyes. "That flag was on my husband's coffin. He died serving this country." Wallace rolled his eyes. "Sure he did. Now, do I need to call backup or are you going to comply?" She whispered, "Please don't do this." Unknown to Officer Wallace, a black SUV had pulled up 2 blocks away. Inside was a man in a dark suit, talking into a headset. Malik Turner, a federal prosecutor, and the youngest deputy attorney general in the region. He had been tracking his mother's location via her phone. She had told him about the area. Something didn't feel right. When her location suddenly stopped moving for 10 minutes, he got in his car. He saw the scene as he approached. His mother in cuffs, her flag in the mud, and a cop smirking like it was all a game. Malik stepped out of the vehicle. Controlled. Deadly serious. "Officer Wallace, my name is Malik Turner. You are currently detaining a grieving widow without cause. I advise you to release her. Now." Wallace turned, his smile fading slightly. "And who the hell are you supposed to be?" Malik pulled out his credentials. The badge glinted under the cloudy sky. The officer blinked. Malik continued, "You just laid hands on a U.S. Army widow. You mocked her service. You put your hands on her. And now you're going to answer for every second of it." Wallace tried to backpedal. "I didn't know who she was. She was acting suspicious." Malik cut him off. "You didn't know who she was or what she was. You saw her skin. And that was enough for you." Within minutes, a second squad car arrived. Then another. But this time, they weren't there to support Wallace. They were there for accountability. Janine was gently uncuffed by a black female officer who offered her an umbrella and a quiet apology. Malik held his mother as she sobbed. Not because she was hurt, but because, for once, someone had seen her pain. Wallace was taken aside. An internal affairs agent, already tipped off by Malik, arrived moments later. The footage from his body cam was pulled. And what it revealed? Mockery, intimidation, abuse of power. Wallace was suspended within 24 hours. But Malik didn't stop there. A week later, a civil rights lawsuit was filed. And 3 weeks later, Wallace was off the force. Janine was offered a public apology by the police chief. But what she cherished more was seeing her husband's honor restored and her own dignity reclaimed. Sometimes, justice doesn't come easy. Sometimes, it wears a badge. Sometimes, it comes in the form of a son who never forgot where he came from or who raised him. Janine Turner stood tall that day, not because she won, but because her pain had a voice. And in a world where too many voices are silenced, hers roared louder than ever. If Janine's story moved you, share this video. Let her voice be heard. Let others see what justice looks like. And never forget, it's not about who you are, it's about who stands with you when the world turns its back. Subscribe to Faces of Suffering for more real stories that reveal the truth behind injustice. Because behind every face, there's a story the world needs to hear.